The time is up, Mike.
Cannot play with him. Cannot win with him. Cannot coach with him. Can't do it.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Grants Reacts, a college football show for the fans, by the fans. And today we're talking about the Pittsburgh Panthers defeating the Florida State Seminoles. Pittsburgh played a good game, but I want to talk more about Florida State and what's going to happen with Mike Norvell. Now, this is the show for the fans, by the fan. So I want to let you guys know where the Florida State fan base is. You know, I had to hit up a couple of my Florida State homies. I know what social media is saying, but I wanted to talk to the fans that aren't too overreactive, right? I have a couple of them that I call and I say, hey, how do you feel about this? And last year when Mike Norvell and Florida State, when they went 2-10, they said, look, we got to give the guys some chops. Maybe it was a bad year, but hey, yeah, we know it's year 5, but let's see what he does. Then the offseason hit. Mike comes out, he gives his motivational speeches. He gets new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. He gives up play calling. And that right there got a couple Florida State fans. It got the fan base saying, interesting. Okay. Then they beat Alabama. And a lot of Florida State fans perked up and they said, this is what Florida State's about, Mike Norvell. And then how does he follow that up? How does he compound on that? You end up losing to Virginia. You end up losing to Miami. And you end up losing to Pittsburgh. Now, when the Virginia loss happened, people said, well, hey, that's good. Right? You don't want to lose, but it's going to make them angry for Miami. The Miami loss happened, then you say, well, Mike had them fighting to the end. And then today comes where you lose to Pittsburgh, true freshman quarterback making his first start. Even the biggest Mike Norvell supporters, they're out of excuses for you. Because you've changed the offensive coordinator, you've changed the defensive coordinator, and there's only one thing that hasn't changed, and that's you. Hell, there's a new stadium. And you're still the head coach, and the same things are happening, right? The players are off to a slow start. Virginia, off to a slow start. Okay, it's going to get fixed against Miami. Off to a slow start. After that first drive where they went down and scored 3, it was a slow start. Pittsburgh, off to a slow start. I mean, Pittsburgh went right down there. I mean, this program has given Mike Norvell everything they needed. They've had an NIL. Hell, they've used the NIL to bring in players. But you haven't brought in the right ones. I'm watching some of the players, linebackers not being able to do what a quarterback spot's supposed to do. Running backs fumbling. Well, damn, you saw running backs fumbling the last couple games. You saw turnovers the last couple games. Things aren't, no matter how many times Mike Norvell comes to the microphone and says, this team has had a good practice. They understand what I'm saying. Something isn't going on, because when you get onto the field, all the same things are happening. Dumb penalties, slapping a guy in the face, jumping off sides at the end, a flag on the onside kick. It's continually happening, and you got to end up at one point looking at Mike Norvell. And now here's the big thing. The recruiting has not been up to par. So you have guys like Mario Cristobal, you have Billy Napier, they're recruiting their next level, and you haven't been able to do that. You haven't been able to do that at Florida State. And when you do get players like a Charles Lester, where the hell is he? You know, where is the player that you've seen Mike Norvell signed from high school and then him developed? Where is he? There may be a couple, but not nearly enough. I look over at Miami's team, and as much as people want to yell out transfer portal, I see a Ruben Bain who was recruited by Miami, signed to Miami, and now is projected to be a first-round pick. I'm seeing CeCe Marigoa came to Miami, signed with Miami, recruited by Miami, picked Miami, projected first-round pick. Florida State, they're going to have to ask themselves this question. Do we want to be the lottery team? Now, here's the lottery team. You can't recruit, so you don't have your foundation built, but you want to play the lottery, a.k.a. the transfer portal. And if you hit on the transfer portal, good things could possibly happen to you. Because when they hit on Keon Coleman, who people knew was good, but they hit on Jared Verse, they hit on Braden Fix. Hey, you did good. You ran through the ACC. You didn't make the playoffs. You ended up getting your ass whooped in a bowl game, which I told Florida State fans that was a bad sign. They didn't want to listen to me. Fine. And then the next year, you had DJ Uiagalelei. Didn't work out too well for you. This year, Squirrel White was supposed to be the one of the top receivers in the transfer portal. You didn't hit on him. He hasn't done anything for you besides that one big play against Alabama. So we can get rid of offensive coordinators. You can get rid of defensive coordinators. You can give up play calling. You can take the play calling back. But if Florida State don't get into the game of recruiting and developing and then getting bits and pieces from the transfer portal, they're going to be in trouble. Because you're playing the lottery. And let me tell you something. The transfer portal every year gets worse and worse. And with Rev Sheva coming up, more teams are keeping their players rather than going to get new players. Florida State lost today, and normally the coach is going to scream out, I need NIL. Mike Norvell, you shouldn't need NIL to beat Pittsburgh, to beat Virginia. It's been 385 days since they won the ACC game. This is bad for Mike Norvell, and I'm wondering what's the next step. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. I'm out. Peace.